So I just saw the 2021 Oscars, and that was quite a thing that happened. I did a video back in for the 2019 Oscars, but I didn't do one for the 2020 Oscars for some reason. I don't know. I guess I just wasn't feeling it that year. But this year, there was a lot of shit that happened at the Oscars this year, and I feel like I should talk about it. So today we will be talking about the winners, what should have won, and overall, was it a good show? Like, how entertaining was it? Without further ado, let's get into the winners. The winner of Best Sound went to Dune. I'm perfectly fine with this one. Dune sounds really, really awesome. Like, the sound design, I think it's very well done. It was well worthy of its nomination and well worthy of its win. Best makeup and hairstyling went to The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I have not seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye, but just looking at the images of the hair and makeup, specifically on Jessica Chastain, the star of the film, it is pretty decent. I can see why it was nominated. Production design went to Dune. So, no complaints with this one. The production design for Dune is really, really good. Like, the film looks amazing, so I'm glad that it won. Best documentary short went to The Queen of Basketball. I haven't seen it, nor have I seen any of the nominees in any of the short categories. And that includes Best Documentary Short, Best Animated Short, and Best Short Film. So, can't really give you an opinion on those. Now we have another award for Dune, and that is Best Editing. Now, oftentimes I don't really pay attention to the editing when I'm watching movies, unless it's like really, really good. And I haven't really paid attention to the editing in Dune, but I guess that's decent editing. Best costume design surprisingly went to Cruella. I say surprisingly not because Cruella is a bad movie. It's just weird to see Cruella be nominated for an Oscar in the first place. In the category that it was nominated in, Best Costume Design makes perfect sense. The costumes are really, really, really good in Cruella, and you know what? They did a really good job. And I'm glad that it won the Oscar. I can tell that the Academy really liked Dune because we have two more Dune wins. Next one is Best Cinematography. Yeah, I have no problems with this one. This is a really, really good cinematography. Dune also won Best Visual Effects. And, the effects in Dune are pretty good. The different types of creatures that happen in the film, the types of stuff they show, is really, really good. But before we move on to the next category, something really, really funny happened when the visual effects team for Dune were accepting their awards. One of them was about to give their speech, but was cut off by the outro music before he could say his speech. He was like, "With my speech," but then he did the speech anyway, and then the show went on. That's just kind of funny to me. Focus on the actual show later on in the video. Best live action short film goes to The Long Goodbye. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen any of the short films that were nominated. Best original screenplay goes for Belfast by Kenneth Branagh. Me personally, I have not seen Belfast yet. Definitely does look like a really, really good movie. It looks like it's going to be very emotional. To think, in the span of the year, Kenneth Branagh went from directing Artemis Fowl to Belfast, a movie nominated for several Oscars, including Best Picture. That is quite impressive, Kenneth. For Best International Feature, the winner was Drive My Car, and of course it was. I'm pretty sure Drive My Car took the film industry by storm, like shook it on fire. Like, a lot of people were giving Drive My Car such praise. Even got nominated for Best Picture. To win, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. Drive My Car won the Oscar. Winner of Best Adapted Screenplay was Coda. I haven't seen Coda, but I actually have an excuse for this one. That's because I don't have a subscription to Apple TV Plus, and I don't want to get a subscription to a whole other streaming service just so I can watch this one movie. One of the reasons why I haven't seen Wolf Walkers or the Fraggle Rock revival yet, or Central Park, I just don't want to get Apple TV Plus because I have enough streaming services, and it looks like a streaming service that is relying way too heavily on its original content. But anyway, back to Dakota. The movie looks really, 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 really good. I haven't seen it. Hopefully the movie will be released to DVD and Blu-ray. For now, I only have to go off some of the clips I've seen to justify, maybe it was worthy of the win for best adapted screenplay. Next up, the winner for best animated short film, and that is The Windshield Wiper. Haven't seen it. I said this about all of the short categories. Best documentary feature went to Summer of Soul. I am happy with this win. I haven't seen Summer of Soul. I know there's a lot of Oscar-nominated movies that I haven't seen, and a lot of the Oscar-winning movies that I haven't seen. I have at least heard about it before the nominees were announced, which is something that I can't say for a lot of these movies. The concept has always interested me. For me, I have both Hulu and Disney Plus, so if I want to give this story the chance, I can just watch it. Summer of Soul, great choice to win the Oscar. Okay, this looks like it's the last Dune win, and that is Best Original Score by Hans Zimmer. It's Hans friggin' Zimmer. Of course, it deserved it. We're getting to some of the actor categories. The first one is Troy Koster. He won Best Supporting Actor for Coda. Now, this is a very significant moment in Oscars history because this is the second time a deaf person has won an Oscar for an acting category. Well, again, I've said that I have not seen Coda. I have seen several different clips with Coda, and a lot of them did feature Troy Koster as his character, doing an amazing job. Troy, if you're watching this, sorry you haven't been able to understand this. I don't know any sign language, but congratulations to you for winning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Ariana DeBose won Best Supporting Actress for West Side Story, and yes, she was well deserving of this win. She was amazing as Anita. Everyone in West Side Story did an amazing job, except for the main actor. Aside from what the fuck? Oh my god! Oh my god! The light is having a seizure. Yeah, I had to change the lights. So sorry if the rest of the video looks a little different. Was not expecting this to happen. So now this really feels like a video about the Oscars because there's a crap load of problems going on throughout the video and a whole lot of awkwardness. I feel like pretty much everybody at West Side Story was worthy of a nomination. Basically, most of the main actors and supporting actors. But the fact that one of them managed to get an Oscar, that's what put the smile to my face. Jane Campion won Best Director for The Power of the Dog. It's pretty cool, mainly the fact that I do believe she is the first woman to win Best Director twice. So congratulations for her for making history. Best Animated Feature ended up going to Encanto. Who could have seen that coming? With 3 Disney movies being nominated for Best Animated Feature, it's almost like it was rich for them to win. Like, I've seen a lot of people online complain that the Mitchells vs. the Machines didn't win. Oh yeah, I do think that Mitchells vs. the Machines is the better movie. You can't deny that Encanto did take the world by storm. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was making TikToks about it. Not to mention, the movie was just really good. Not to bash on Mitchell's, at least it was nominated. It's kind of funny to see people get mad over Mitchell's losing when, well, why wouldn't Encanto win? Like, did you guys seriously think that, like, I don't know, the indie adult animated film would win over 3 Disney movies? Yeah, before we move on to the next category, it is kind of crappy that Flea didn't take home with any Oscars, because I've seen a good amount of Flea, and it's a pretty good movie. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature, Best Documentary, and Best International Film, and it didn't win any of those, as we've already discussed. While I am perfectly happy with the winners in all 3 categories, it still sucked that the movie didn't come home with any Oscar despite all of its nominations. Anyway, let's move on to the next category, and that is Best Original Song, which went to No Time to Die from No Time to Die, written by Billie Eilish and Phineas. Now, the Best Original Song category ended up getting a lot of controversy, mainly due to the fact that We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto wasn't even up for your consideration for it. Instead, what Disney put up for your consideration and what ultimately got nominated was Dos Crulitos, the background song that played when Abuela's husband got murdered. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice song, but it is not the best song in Encanto. And back on to No Time to Die, I really enjoyed Billie Eilish. I really enjoyed her song in No Time to Die, and you know what? The song is great, and I'm glad it won the Oscar. Next up is Best Actress, and that went to Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. This one genuinely shocked me. Like, wait, Eyes of Tammy Faye? Jessica Chastain? Like, that, okay. And I haven't seen Eyes of Tammy Faye, so I can't really judge her performance, but cool. And for Best Actor, that went to Will Smith, his very first Oscar win. And you know what? I'm happy for Will Smith. I'm happy that he got his Oscar. The man was crying. Mans was crying when he got his award. So good on you, Will. Good on Will. You worked hard, and this rapper got his Oscar for acting. Finally, we have the big cheese, and that is Best Picture. Best Picture ended up going to Coda, and while I haven't seen Coda, I feel like this is deserved. Coda does look like a very well-made, very feel-good movie, and it's nice to see a charming, feel-good movie get Best Picture. Alright, now it's time to go over some of the movies and stuff that I feel like should have won in some of the categories that I've had problems with. Starting things off with Best Editing, that went to Dune. I feel like that should have went to Tick Tick Boom. Tick Tick Boom had some really, really good editing in it. Especially during the therapy song. Like, that is some really, really good editing, contrasting the very serious breakup scene with the fun, happy song going on. So Best Cinematography also went to Dune. I feel like that could have gone to The Tragedy of Macbeth. I haven't seen Tragedy of Macbeth, but just from what I've seen, holy crap, the movie looks amazing. Like, in terms of visuals alone, like production design or cinematography, like, that should have gotten an Oscar. Like, oh my god. Tragedy of Macbeth looks amazing. I need to watch this movie just by how it looks. Speaking on how films look, Best Visual Effects also went to Dune. Dune won a lot of Oscars, half of which I feel could have gone to something else. But anyway, so Best Visual Effects went to Dune. I think that should have went to Spider-Man No Way Home. I sound a little greedy for wanting Spider-Man No Way Home to win an Oscar, even though it was nominated for just the one. You can't deny how amazing the effects will look in Spider-Man No Way Home a lot of the time. There were some effects in Spider-Man No Way Home that people didn't even know were effects. Like, for some reason, there was a completely CG apartment where I feel like that could have just been a set, but regardless, it was still really nice and impressive. Like, it had good effects. It had good effects. So, for Best Actor, that went to Will Smith. I personally would have wanted Andrew Garfield, mainly because I like Andrew Garfield. And I think his performance in Tick Tick Boom was the best element of that movie, in my opinion. It might just be a little bit of bias because I did really enjoy Tick Tick Boom, and I just thought that King Richard was pretty good. I'm still satisfied with Will Smith's win. Then we get to Best Actress. It's not even a contest. It should have went to Kristen Stewart for Spencer. She freaking killed it in Spencer. Why didn't she win the Oscar? Instead it went to Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy freaking Faye? I almost forgot Eyes of Tammy Faye even came out. Spencer easily could have been nominated for a whole bunch of other categories. For some reason, it was only nominated for Best Actress with Kristen Stewart's performance, and she did amazing. And she didn't win. So yeah, that is a really, really crappy loss. And before we move on to talking about the actual show, I do want to bring up the Best Original Song category one last time. The songs that were nominated, I am 100% happy with No Time to Die winning. But of the songs that could have been nominated, it should have gone to literally anything from Encanto. Because the songs from Encanto are some of the best Disney songs in the past 10 to 15 years. Welcome to the Family Madrigal, Surface Pressure, Waiting for a Miracle, What Else Can I Do, and especially We Don't Talk About Bruno. They were all amazing songs, and Lin-Manuel Miranda poured his heart into it, but for some reason, he put the most forgettable song in the movie up for consideration for the Oscars. They did ended up nominating it because, it's an Encanto song, it's a Lin-Manuel Miranda song, let's nominate that to represent the movie. But I could just envision an alternate reality where literally any other song from Encanto got nominated, and it ended up winning the Oscar. And I think at the end of the day, I'm kind of mad that Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't win more so than Encanto or Dos Ilusos didn't win. I just butchered the crap out of that title, but yeah, I'm more mad that Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't win, because if Lin-Manuel Miranda won this Oscar for the song in Encanto, that one, then he would have gotten EGOT status. So I guess it was more me wanting to see a new EGOT rather than, oh, this song should definitely win. That's what you get, Lin-Manuel, for not putting We Don't Talk About Bruno up for consideration. But with all that out of the way, it's time that we finally move on to talking about the show itself. Did the Oscars put on a good show? No, they did not!
So I'm actually recording this segment of the video at a later point in the day. As you can see, it's nighttime now. Well, actually, the curtain was closed, so you couldn't tell what time of the day it was. But, it's nighttime now. I was filming it in day, and I'm wearing a different outfit now. And I just thought I should point this out because I know that there are going to be some people in the comments that'll be like, oh, hey, why did the outfits change? And why are the curtains suddenly up? Like, it's because I have a life outside of these stupid little videos. So yeah, the actual show that they were trying to put on. Yeah, let's start things off with how it opens, and that is with the performance of the Beyonce song from King Richard, which is a very, very nice performance, and I really do enjoy it. Beyonce is the queen, and her song is really great. If No Time to Die didn't win, I would be perfectly fine with the Beyonce song from King Richard winning. And I might as well just go ahead and bring up all the other musical performances, specifically for the ones nominated for Best Original Song. The next one was Dos de Luisos from Encanto. For some reason, the octave was a little bit lower, but overall, I think it was a very well done performance of the song. Not a whole lot to say there. Reba gets a nice performance of her song from 4 Good Days. I think that's what the movie was called. It's a Reba song, so it's gonna be nice and good. A nice, good Reba song. Nice performance from Reba herself. The original song from Belfast didn't have a live performance. I think it's because, well, the performer couldn't attend the Oscars that year. And so the last one was actually No Time to Die by Billie Eilish and Phineas. And yeah, that's probably, I think the Beyonce one was my favorite performance, but that is definitely my favorite song of all of them. And it is a very well done performance with the trippy James Bond intro playing in the back. Meanwhile, Billie and Phineas are just doing their performance. Really, really, really great. So this year, the Oscars decided to bring back having hosts after not having them for 3 years, I do believe. It was 2018, 2019, and 2020 where they just decided to go hostless, because for the 2018 show, well, technically 2019, well, it aired in 2019, but the movies were from 2018. So I've been calling them by when the movies were released and not when the Oscars aired, so it's a little confusing. But anyway, yeah, Kevin Hart got in trouble for some old tweets he made, so the Academy fired him, and they didn't get a replacement, so they just went hostless for the first time. And they decided to go hostless for the next 2 years until this year, where they decided to do 3 hosts, I guess making up for the 3 years of no hosts. And the hosts are Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer. I don't like Amy Schumer. And I think this Oscars is a really good reason to not like Amy Schumer. So for some reason, all 3 hosts are introduced by DJ Khaled. Okay. So the hosts do their monologue, and there's really not much to say about the monologue from the hosts, except for the fact that they seem to be trashing on the movies getting nominated a lot. Like, they say something about King Richard, on how it is a great movie about the Serena Williams' dad. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. They say King Richard is a great movie about female empowerment, about I keep saying Serena. A great movie about female empowerment, about the Williams sisters' dad. The movie was made specifically by Serena and Venus Williams to honor their father, right? The one that sticks out the most for me was what they said about Don't Look Up, which didn't win any Oscars, thank God. I forget who said it. I think it was Regina Hall, and they were like, "Oh, don't look up." So the Academy clearly don't look up reviews, which is kind of funny, I will admit. But it is kind of weird, the fact that the Academy would just let that slide. unless that was improvised on the spot, which it most likely was. Now, the hosts in this show do a lot of cringe comedy. Like, their attempts at comedy are just really unfunny, and like, I don't think I laughed like at all during these bits. So the first one is where Regina Hall is bringing up a bunch of very attractive men from the audience. Like, there's Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa was one of the presenters afterwards. So there was Tyler Perry, Timothy Chalamet, I think Benedict Cumberbatch was up there, and Simu Liu. She's saying that, oh, well, we're going to go get a COVID test, but it is blatantly clear that she's actually trying to have sex with these men and probing them. She even makes an "Are you 18" joke. If this was from 10 years ago and the roles were reversed and it was a man trying to bring a bunch of attractive women up on stage to have sex with, right now we would look at this as one of the worst moments in Oscars history. But the roles are a bit reversed, and it is happening right now. It actually, technically, it didn't happen right now. It happened a couple days ago, but it still happened less than a week ago in the year 2022. And these jokes are still acceptable just as long as it's reversed. So after that, we get presented more categories until we get to the next big show thing, which is a 60th anniversary tribute to James Bond. The movies, not the novels. I'm pretty sure the novels are about 70 years old. But this year was the 60th anniversary of the very first James Bond movie, Dr. No. And they showed this video of a big old tribute to all 25 films throughout the past 60 years, including No Time to Die, and it is set to Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney, which is from the Bond movie Live and Let Die. And of course, No Time to Die did win an Oscar this year, as I previously said, with the song No Time to Die. So yeah, it was a very cool, a very fun tribute to James Bond, one of the most popular and biggest and longest lasting film franchises ever. Then after that, we had the live performance of Dos Delirisos from Encanto, and we get to see the Academy's new museum dedicated to a bunch of movies from history. And there's a pre-recorded bit where Wanda Sykes tours the museum, and the joke is that Wanda doesn't know any of the movies. Like, there's a point where she doesn't recognize the ruby slippers from Wizard of Oz, and she mistakes a Dark Crystal puppet from being a character from White Chicks. Me personally, I just think that it's really cool that there's Dark Crystal representation to begin with. She's also really mad that she donated like $15 to the museum, and they didn't put her on the wall of donors, and she doesn't have her own area. That's the bit. We also got a sneak peek of the new Pixar movie Lightyear, which will be coming out in June. It looked no different from the all other trailers that they've released, but it was still a pretty good one. It still had Starman a part of it, and the movie looks great. I can't wait to watch it, especially now that apparently there's a same-sex kiss in it, and it's from one of the main characters this time. So good on you, Pixar, for being very, very progressive and winning the war from Disney. After more categories and Reba's performance, there was a moment of silence for victims of Ukraine and to promote charities to help support them, which was a very, very nice reminder that, there's a freaking war going on and we need to show our support. Yeah, Amy Schumer later made a joke about how people are dying in Ukraine right now, which, come on, Amy. Come on. This is why no one likes you. Then a little bit after that, we got the very first live performance of We Don't Talk About Bruno. Now, see, they won't nominate it, but they will do a very crappy performance of the song. It started off really, really good. Like, they got the actual actors who played the characters to perform, and, they're really good. But after the first verse, it stopped being a performance of We Don't Talk About Bruno, and instead a performance of a parody of We Don't Talk About Bruno called We Don't Talk About Oscars. And they're saying about how they're at the Oscars. Now, here's why I think this is stupid, because they promoted the crap out of how this will be the first live performance of We Don't Talk About Bruno, and they don't even perform the whole song, only the first verse and a dumb parody of it. Second of all, isn't this a bit of a weird moment to just throw into the middle of the show? Like, wouldn't this make more sense to be the opening number of it all? Instead, the opening number was Beyonce performing her song from King Richard. That's just one of the best original song nominations. So wouldn't it make more sense to perform this show that is this song that is specifically about the Oscars at the beginning of the Oscars? Like that is just really, really dumb. Speaking of dumb, there's a bit where the hosts all dress up as characters from movies that are nominated, and you see, Wanda Sykes is dressed as Richard Williams, and not the animated Richard Williams, the coach Richard Williams, that the father to Serena and Venus. So she's dressed as Richard Williams from King Richard specifically, and the joke is that, Amy and Regina were supposed to dress up as the Williams sisters, but Regina Hall ended up dressing up like Tammy Faye from The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and Amy Schumer ended up dressing up as Spider-Man and was dangling from the ceiling, spraying silly string all over the place. So it was a very bad Spider-Man costume. Like, I think it was intentional. Like they just took a Spider-Man costume from Party City and they just put a red mask over her eyes. Like, not even a Spider-Man mask, just a red mask. Why didn't you put a Spider-Man mask on her? Like, so she would be recognizable as Amy Schumer? This is so stupid. This is so stupid. Speaking of being really freaking stupid, let's talk about the top 5s that they decided to do. Yeah, so they're now doing these top 5 fan favorite moments things, or fan favorite movies. They did 2 of these. The first one was the top 5 crowd cheering moments. Not with movies of the year, but just movies in general. Like, why movies in general? Like, were there seriously not enough crowd-pleasing movies to come out in 2021 that you had to pull scenes from Matrix, Dreamgirls, and Avengers Endgame? Really? Like, the only movies that came out this year that they included were Spider-Man No Way Home and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, why? But what really baffles me is the top 5 fan favorite movies. Now, let's go by the list number by number. Number 5 is Tick, Tick, Boom, which, you know what? Fine. And number 4 is Spider-Man No Way Home. What? The movie with the biggest cheers and fan reaction. The movie that basically saved movie theaters, being the only movie released last year to gross over $1 billion. According to the Oscars, that's number 4. And number 3 is some random Johnny Depp movie that I can't even remember the name of. I didn't think Johnny Depp was even in a movie in the last 3 years. Because, Amber Heard just destroyed his career for no reason. And number 2 was Amazon's Cinderella? The one where James Corden plays a mice that turns into a human? And the clip they showed to be like, why is this number 2? Like, this is cringe. The clip they showed was cringe. And number 1 was Army of the Dead. Like, I liked Army of the Dead. I thought it was fine. But number 1 fan favorite film of the year? The Kids' Choice Awards would have a better understanding of what movies were popular and what movies people liked than this. And speaking of dumb pre-recorded bits of the Oscars, like, there were like 6 or 8 categories that were not live at all. There weren't any presenters and there weren't any live readings. They were just all pre-recorded bits. The most notable ones to me are all of the short film categories and best original score. So yeah, basically the winners were just filmed their bits in an empty studio. But what was really stupid, what was really freaking stupid, is that they still had like the bits of the audience in it. They still inserted clips of the audience cheering, and it is very, very weird. Like why would you even do that? Just say, like, this is a pre-recorded bit. Say it's pre-recorded. God. Next, there's a bit with the host where they started to do prizes. Now, this bit is mostly like whatever, but I do want to bring up one moment. I think it's by Regina Hall. And Regina Hall is just like, okay, we're about to give out this movie that nobody has ever seen before, including the director. And Wanda Sykes is like, what movie is it? And Regina Hall goes, oh, The Last Duel. Okay, that was kind of funny. The next notable moment outside of musical performances and the awards, I'm going to save that for later because it's literally the only thing that people are talking about with the Oscars right now, and it's probably the reason you clicked on this video. But I'll save that for the end. For now, I want to talk about something else that is very controversial, and that is how they treated animation when they started to present the Best Animated Feature category. So the actresses that played Cinderella, Jasmine, and soon Ariel in the Disney remakes presented the awards for Best Animated Feature, and they basically said that animation is for kids to like and for adults to endure. It's stuff like this that it's hard to take the Oscars seriously half the time. Like the actual shows. Like the actual show that the Oscars put on. It's hard to take them seriously half the time when they don't treat the movies that are nominated for the awards seriously half the time. Especially the animated movies. The animated movies get so much crap from the Oscars, even though they have their own freaking category. But I think it's more so the presenters than the Oscars themselves, more so than the Academy, because they did nominate a good amount of animated movies in other categories, like Best Original Song, Best Documentary, Best International Feature. Like, they do respect animation to an extent. Like, there hasn't been one nominated for Best Film or Best Feature in over, a decade, but, at least there have been some nominated, and, they do have their own category, and, there are definitely a few animated movies nominated in various different categories in the Oscars throughout the years. Like, at least, it's outside of Best Animated Feature, there you will see, like at least a couple animated movies nominated in different categories every year. But you still have idiots, like the presenters for Best Animated Feature, that clearly just see animation as a whole as just a children's genre. Like, this makes no sense to have an opinion on this in 2022, because of the amount of animation that has been made, either for adults or animation for like older kids that children and adults can enjoy. This is especially stupid because an adult animated movie was one of the nominees for Best Animated Feature. It was nominated for 2 other Oscars too. That being Flea. And I was talking to my dad about this, who was like a 53-year-old man who couldn't give 2 craps about any animated movies. He's actually not 53, it's like 55, I think. But yeah, he's a man in his mid-50s who couldn't give 2 craps about animated movies and like really doesn't care to watch anything animated. Like, he agrees. That is really stupid. So for an old man, a man in his mid-50s who barely cares about animation and doesn't care to watch any animated movies most of the time, can agree that, animation is for everybody, then, they really, really screwed up. So before we move on to the next bit, I would like to give some recommendations for animated movies made for an older audience or just flat out grown-ups. The Tale of Princess Kaguya is an incredible story about this girl who comes from a bamboo tree and is destined for greatness, but she really just wants to live her life. It is an incredibly sad story, but amazing animation, and I highly recommend it, by Studio Ghibli. It's on HBO Max, so go check it out. Fantastic Planet is a weird, trippy, animated indie movie from the 70s. This is also on HBO Max. If you're into weird, trippy movies, if you're a fan of Yellow Submarine, I think you'd really enjoy this movie. So yeah, this is a good recommendation. Coraline is actually very, very adult for a PG rated movie. It's not inappropriate for children. Like children can watch Coraline, but it will scare the crap out of them. Is what I'm trying to say. So Coraline's a really good movie for some older kids and some young adults. Really good movie. Those are my recommendations for some more mature animated movies, and of course the Oscar nominated Flea. But these are just a couple of the ones that I own and ones that I have seen. There are tons of great animated adult content out there that I either don't own or I haven't seen. Just give animation a chance. Even the stuff made for children, just give that crap a chance. This stuff has been around for over a century, as long as film itself, for a reason. I know I've been going on this for so long, but just, my God, just because it's animated, that doesn't mean it's inferior. There have been animated movies nominated for Best Picture in the past. Just respect the medium. Everybody in the animation community, either online or in the actual industry, it's really pissed at this right now. So support animation and treat it like they're real movies. So next, they did a big tribute to the 50th anniversary of The Godfather. And by big tribute, I mean they just showed a couple of clips, and Francis Ford Coppola came out and said that, The Godfather was amazing, and it really impacted a lot of people. And meanwhile, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro are just standing there doing absolutely nothing. Be like, hey, what's up? We were in The Godfather. Here's Francis Ford Coppola. He hasn't directed a movie in over a decade. He's old. We're old. Have a nice Oscars. Why were they even there to begin with if they weren't going to contribute anything? I get it. 50 years of the Oscars, reunion, whatever, they're Hollywood royalty. What? If you aren't going to have them give a speech, and they're just going to stand there while Francis Ford Coppola does all the work, why even have them there to begin with, and not just have Francis Ford Coppola just talk about his movie? Why even do that to begin with? Next, they had the memorial service, which was kind of different from most of the memorials. They do play the sad songs with the different people that died, like Stephen Sondheim and a famous Disney animator who passed away. But they do give some very specific memorials for some people set by some very famous celebrities. Tyler Perry specifically points out Sidney Poitier, who died in 2021 and was one of the first black people to win an Oscar, and basically the first black actor to win an Oscar for the acting category. So he was very, very important in black history and in film history in general. The other big notable one that gets his own little mention is Ivan Reitman, the director of classic 80s comedies such as Stripes and Ghostbusters, and Bill Murray, who was in both of those films, was the one talking about his legacy. And he truly did leave a great legacy in the world of comedy. And the final one was perhaps the biggest loss that we had last year, mainly because it happened on the literal last day, and it wasn't a tragedy. Like, it wasn't like it wasn't like so sudden a big loss, but it was, I guess it was still a tragedy. Like, none of us were expecting it, because there was a meme that this person would last forever, and we were just not ready for the day she actually died. And of course, that was Betty White. It was presented by Jamie Lee Curtis, and Betty White was entertaining people for basically her entire life, and she's literally older than sliced bread. She was just shy away from her 100th birthday. They talked about on how supportive she was to animals and just her massive impact on just entertainment in general. And then Amy Schumer calls Kristen Dunst a seat filler. Ha 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 ha, Amy, you're so funny. So, the final thing I want to talk about isn't necessarily the end of the award show, but it is definitely the most notable moment. And you guys have been waiting for, like, I don't know how long it's been, like 40 minutes or so for me to talk about this thing. So, here it is. Let's talk about Will Smith. So Chris Rock was on stage to present the nominees for Best Documentary Film. And so, you know, he's a comedian. He's up there cracking jokes, addressing people in the audience, and he mentions Jayla Smith. He comments on Jayla's lack of any hair, saying that if they ever make G.I. Jane 2, she should be in it. Now we see Jayla's reaction to this, and, you know, she's not very happy. For context, G.I. Jane is a movie about a woman shaving her head in order to join the army. And Jayla Smith has a disease which gave her this baldness. So, Jayla's husband, Will Smith, actually got out of his seat and went up on stage to Chris Rock and smacked him in the face. Now, a lot of people that were watching that thing live, and a couple of people watching at home, thought this was a bit. But very quickly, we all figured out, holy crap, this is real. And so basically, Will Smith said twice to Chris Rock, get my wife's name out of your effing mouth. And here's the thing, Chris Rock is a very loud dude, in case you couldn't tell. So the fact that he just stood there silently, not knowing what to do for a few seconds, just really says more than any joke could. He did crack a joke a couple seconds later, saying that that was the greatest moment in the history of television. And he even, like, screwed up introducing the category and the nominees. Be like, here's the documentary nominees, here's the movie, here's the nominees. So this is basically the only thing that people have been talking about from the Oscars, for very good reason, because it is so insane. Will Smith just walked up on stage, smacked the crap out of Chris Rock, and just screaming at him to not say his wife's name. Like, there were so many memes from this. Like, oh my god, it's literally been 2 days, and there's hundreds of memes already. The internet works so fast. Like, oh my god, there are so many freaking memes. There were like hundreds of memes within like the first hour of it, and god, this was just crazy. And what happened afterwards? In case you didn't pay attention to the beginning of the video, and I don't know, we've been here a while, so you probably didn't. Will Smith did actually win Best Actor for King Richard, and he did apologize to the Academy and to everybody who was attached to King Richard, but not to Chris Rock. He was like, oh, don't say that stuff about my wife. But here's the really interesting thing. The very next day, he did release a public apology to Chris Rock. And if you go back and look at the footage, Will Smith is actually laughing at the joke. It was Jayla who didn't like it and was cringing. So what basically happened is that Jayla was like, Will, I know you thought that was funny, but I don't want to go up there and punch the crap or slap the crap out of Chris Rock for that horrible joke that he made. So could you do that for me, honey? Okay, love you. Bye. Hope you win the award later. So let's look at both sides of this argument. So basically, there's good and bad elements to both of them. On the one hand, Will Smith was defending his wife, but on the other hand, he didn't need to assault Chris Rock like that, and he did kind of find the joke funny. And for Chris Rock, on one hand, you know, he's making an edgy joke, and sometimes comedians have to cross the line a little bit to try new material. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. And on the other hand, the man got physically assaulted by Will Smith. like it was a crazy scenario, but like, what is literally the only thing people are talking about from the Oscars right now, and viewers went up significantly. It wasn't the publicity that the Academy wanted, obviously, but it did get people talking about the Oscars for the very, very wrong reasons. But on one hand, it's a bad thing, because there were huge firsts, like the first openly queer woman of color to win Best Supporting Actress, or the first deaf man to win Best Supporting Actor. All that stuff got overshadowed by Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. But on the other hand, I think it is great that, stuff like Regina Hall flirting with all the men and Amy Schumer's terrible, terrible comedy got overshadowed by the Will Smith and Chris Rock incident, with the exception of the animation stuff, like the animation, like just trashing on animation like that. That is justifiably, really, really hated on by the animation community. And with that, that is basically the 94th Academy Awards. So, what are my overall thoughts? So, with the wins, I am mostly satisfied with what actually won, and with the awards. These are justifiably good wins. They might have had a bit of a bias with Dune, but, for the most part, I think everything was nice and fair. But when it comes to the actual show, outside the musical performances for the best original songs, oh my god, this is probably the cringiest Oscars in years. The hosts really brought this Oscars down like a big amount. Like, these were some of the cringiest hosts that they've ever had. Like, they were so unfunny. Like, holy crap. And of course, there was the just crap that the animation was given. Amy Schumer just making really, really bad jokes. Like, she is so unfunny. She is so horrible. Like why is she even popular? Like, she is. Oh God. And of course, Chris Rock getting smacked in the face by Will Smith. I just hope that next year the Oscars get their crap together and actually put on a decent show for once. They should either return to the zero host thing, or get a host who can actually carry an award show. And if they're gonna crack jokes a bunch of times, make sure they're funny, and make sure the person who's saying the jokes is a funny person, so even if the jokes themselves, by their own, aren't funny, they could at least deliver it in a funny way. So, yeah, that is my thoughts on the 2022 or 2021, whatever you want to call it, Oscars. What did you guys think of it? What do you think should have won? What do you think should have lost? What do you think should have been nominated? What did you think of the show? Like the actual entertainment value of it all? And seriously, what the frick was about Will Smith and Chris Rock stuff? If you guys want to see more content from me, and you want to see more fun little videos like this, more weird movie vlogs, please let me know in the comments, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when these videos are uploaded. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Bye!